So when we want to mount the reformer on our backs, we want to make sure we're using good body mechanics. So we're going to slide on down towards the end. Depending on your size, you actually might let that one glute kind of hover a little bit in the space where your springs are. And then you would lie onto your side and make sure that you're protecting your spine when you're moving. Before we begin though, let us place the springs properly on our carriage. So we want 2 reds and a blue. So 2 reds and a blue gives us enough energy to feel movement and strengthen the legs. I like to make sure that people are finding the work that they like and their muscles are moving properly with correct resistance. So if that's too heavy, drop it down and you can do 2 reds and a yellow. Or you can just take the blue off. You got to find your perfect sweet spot resistance. If it's too easy, actually, we want to make sure we have an effort that connects us to our bodies and allows us to flow through a strengthening place. You could possibly add a little more. What do? Take the blue off and put the red on. So in any case, we'll start off with 2 reds and a blue. Lay on your side first, protect your spine, and then slowly, using abdominals, lay onto your back. Now that we're on our backs, we're going to place the center of the heels on the bar, toes to sky. And we want to make sure that we find our neutral pelvis. To find the neutral pelvis, we're going to imprint the spine. We feel the 5 low back bones press into the mat, and then we articulate those low back bones up and we point down into the tail. And we move into the exercise called Pelvic Rock. Now with this Pelvic Rock, we want to ensure that we're moving symmetrically. We're going to place the heels of the hands right on these ASIS bones to feel that symmetry. Check in to make sure one doesn't feel higher than the other. Make sure that one doesn't feel higher than the other in this plane as well. And make sure that you can feel symmetrical movement as far as they are moving the same speed. So as we move down, we feel the pelvis drop. And then we go back, we feel the pelvis drop. We're going to feel that movement with the heels of the hands. Now we're going to find our center place, and we're going to ground into the tailbone to find that center place. And that tailbone sacrum is lightly pressing and grounding. We're going to feel a small space between our low back and our mat. It's about the size of a blueberry, so you want to keep that there, possibly a grape. Our goal is to not smash that blueberry and that grape. So here we go. We're going to press into the heel of the hands, activate the back of the hamstrings, and press the carriage out. Check in, make sure you've got a good pressing surface through the heels of the feet. And then we're going to slowly hinge at the hips and pull forward. Now as we're moving in and out, we want to ensure that the knees are directly pointing towards the ceiling. I want to feel a nice fluid movement. Pressing out, and as we press out, we make sure that we're dropped to neutral, because oftentimes the back likes to flatten. And what that might do is compress the discs, and we don't want to compress the discs. So out and then we press, and out and then we press. Now we're going to close that carriage, reassess our situation here. Good, firm into the heels. Feel that we are parallel with the legs, knees pointing to ceiling. And we have about a fist width distance between the knees. Maybe fist width and a half. You want the knees to be in line with armpits. And we breathe in and we begin with a little more vigor. Exhale, shh, inhale. Exhale, shh, inhale. Exhale, shh, inhale. We're using the exhale breath on the out press. That's where we are relying on our exertion at this point. The breathing can be switched. Today, this is the breath we'll use. Exhale, inhale. Exhale. Good. Close that carriage. We're going to slide those heels out towards the end of the bar in a turnout leg. That means now that our legs are out, they are wider than the shoulders, possibly wider than the frame of the reformer. Okay, but at a place where you can feel the difference between the parallel and the wide turnout. So in our wide turnout, we ground into the pelvis again. We draw the belly in, breathe in, exhale, press out. Now, every time we press out, I want you to feel that we're lifting that low belly into the spine. That means that we're feeling activation all the way from the inner thighs and the pelvic floor and into the pubic bone. As we press out, the belly draws in, and we try our best to knit these ribs inward. Inhaling, tapping the bumper, exhaling, pressing. Check into your legs. Make sure we have the same amount of weight on heel on left and heel on right to ensure that one leg isn't taking over. And close your carriage. We're going to slide those heels in now into heels together, toes apart position. The knees are now in line with the armpits. So we're not wide now. We're at this perfect Pilates V Feet position. We press out through the center of the heels and we slowly glide that carriage in. Inhale, keep your carriage home to the beginning position. Exhale, press out. Inhale and exhale, press out. Inhale and exhale, press out. Every time we press that carriage out, we're going to ensure that those thighs are rotating outward. We're going to feel those inner thighs spiral towards the ceiling. And we're going to check into the pelvis and make sure that we are neutral at that pelvis and we don't feel that pelvis rocking forward and back. Breathing in, close, exhale, squeeze stomach in, press out. We are active in the belly the whole time. It's not just about the legs, it's about the whole body connection. That means our abdominals are active. Energy has to start from the core first. So when we close the carriage, we squeeze belly and we press out. Close the carriage, squeeze belly, and press out. Make sure that belly is active, close your carriage. Now we're going to take the feet down to the balls of the feet, heels together, toes apart. Squeeze your heels together, press through the first and second ball joint of the feet so that we are ensuring a nice full surface area of pressing, all 5 toes on bar, and we press out, exhale. As soon as we close the carriage, we squeeze the stomach in and we press out. Inhale. Again, in a turnout, we want to spiral those inner thighs up towards the ceiling and squeeze inward as if we're trying to zip up a tight pair of pants. Close your carriage. Now we're going to spin those legs in and we're going to have the balls of the feet on the foot bar. So we're going to have the second and first ball joint on. We want the knees to touch this time and the ankles to touch. I want to keep the foot in a relaxed, flat foot position. We're going to breathe in and we're going to press out. Good. When we press out, take a look at my heels and see that we're really kind of just still staying in a natural foot position, okay? We don't want to so much drop yet, or we don't want to lift. We're just going to keep a regular foot pressing out. So closing the carriage, we're going to resist with the backs of the legs. Press out. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Check into the belly, make sure that they're engaged. They, meaning all your abdominals, so obliques, internal, external. We also have your transverse abdominis, core muscle, and we've got that rectus abdominis, which is our washboard muscle. And we're going to close the carriage. Now we're going to change what the ankles are doing. So we're going to press out, we're going to drop the heels under the bar, and then we're going to lift the heels and we're going to close the carriage. Keep the tops of the feet reaching up towards the ceiling. Don't let them drop when you close the carriage. Try to keep them up. This is really going to condition your arches and the tops of your feet for flexibility. Breathe in, exhale, press out and drop. Lift, come home. Press out and drop, lift, come home. Main thing here, friends, is to keep those knees inward. As we transition from a straight knee back to the bent knee, we're going to want to let those knees open. It's a natural tendency for these outer thighs to overcome the inner thighs. But we're not going to let that happen because we are intelligently moving. Pressing out, squeezing navel to spine. And by the way, we are neutral. So keep that space, that grape space, that blueberry space between your back and the mat. And then we're going to press out and stay out. Now we're going to drop one heel under the bar and the opposite knee points towards the ceiling. Take a look at my foot here. We want the top of this foot reaching to the ceiling. He's not slacking. He's up as high as he can in a high half toe. That's the position there. The heel of the other leg is really reaching down and under that bar. So we do get a bit of a calf stretch here. That's good news. We like that. We're going to lift up, raise double heels, and switch. Again, take a look, friends. We have the tops of the foot, the top of this foot, pushing up towards the ceiling. We're not slacking on that foot. He is up and connected. The other one, okay, which is my left leg, he is pressing under the bar. He's getting calf stretch here. So we are always active no matter what position our legs, our body is in, our arms. Something is active, even if it's not moving. So we come through the center, keep those knees hugging center, don't let them spread out, and then we switch. So here we go. We're gonna go at a vigorous rate here. Say medium vigorous, right? So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We take a sip of air, a quick sniff of air, if it's hard to sip, or vice versa. You want to just take a quick inhale so we have that oxygen to perform the exercise in a more rapid way. So this is what I meant about that breath in the beginning of the session, that we're not always going to be breathing through slow counts. We might need to speed up the breath. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch out those legs strong and carry that carriage home. I'm sure you felt that like I did, right in the backs of the calves. Beautiful work there, my friends. The next thing we're going to do is bridging. So we want to slide our shoulder blades down, okay, if we aren't already there. We want to make sure that our headrests are down, okay? If it's difficult for your neck, sit on up and change out headrest. It needs to be flat. So now that we have that flat headrest, we're going to find the heels on the bar, and we're going to go back to the beginning when we were doing our imprints, when we're doing our pelvic rocks. So I want you guys to take that pelvic rock back and imprint the spine and gauge those ribs. Feel those upper abdominals pulling these ribs down. And now that we're there, we're going to point those toes to the sky, make sure we are on the heel. And as we are here on the heel, we're going to lift the tail a smidgen and feel just the pelvis kind of hover. So I can slide my hand a little bit there, right? My low back is pretty much still down. Press those bones down into the mat one at a time as you lower. Lengthening through those arms, pressing down into the carriage gives you some help here. So we're going to imprint the back. We're going to scoop those abdominals in like we're creating an indentation from an ice cream scoop. And we're going to press into the heels as the knees reach over the toes. And we lift those bones up one at a time. Go to your best place. See if you can go higher. Breathe in, drop the chest, scoop the stomach in, and articulate those bones down one bone at a time. This time, see if we can go full version. So we imprint 5 low back bones. Then we feel the pelvis lift. Then we feel 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then thoracic bones lift and rise one bone at a time. Press those hips up so we've got a straight line as much as we can from knee to hip to armpit. Push down, breathe in, scoop stomach, lower down, exhale. All right, we've got the positioning, so let's just do 2 more with the breath. In breath at bottom, exhale at lift, pausing to breathe, exhale, continuing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Lowering down. Beautiful. That should feel like work in those hamstrings, and that's what we like. All right, so we're going to roll to our side to get up. Scoop your stomach in, press up. So that series basically is footwork. There are many different positions of the feet on the foot bar here. I just took you through a few of them. So many different movements, and that's just what makes the reformer great, and that's what makes Pilates great, because there's so many different choices. All right, so now we're going to work into the arms. You're going to turn around, and you're going to face your straps. But before we go there, let's change our springs. So we want to make sure that we have enough resistance. So let's try a red and a yellow, okay? If you have a box, this is where you want to take your box and put it long ways on your reformer. I don't have a box, so I'm going to show it to you without a box. So we're going to sit to the back of the reformer, or, I mean, depending on your frame of reference, that could be the front, right? So in any case, we want to be here at the edge of the mat facing our ribs, okay? The first thing you want to do after you grab your straps is kind of find the best position to sit. All right, so you could be at a crisscross applesauce type position, okay, or a tailor sit in the world of PT. The other thing you can do is take those legs through the shoulder rests, okay, with legs straight. I would say this is second position. This is a little bit harder. We have to maintain our alignment with the hamstrings pulling on our spine. You can also come into a soft bent knee and slide those legs out so that they're kind of pressing out against the shoulder rest a little bit. As we move through this series, I'm going to go from one position to the next so you can see what it looks like. So I'll start in position 1. In position 1, we're going to hold on to these straps. We're going to draw these shoulder blades together and pull the carriage forward in reference to your body, right? So your forward is actually making that carriage move out to maybe the back part of the reformer, right? So in any case, we inhale and we exhale, pull. This is crisscross applesauce. We draw the shoulder blades in first, keep them down, draw your ribs in, and pull the carriage out. You want to keep those elbows inward, squeezing always, and not chicken winging and shrugging, right? So into the spine, release. Next position. And rest. Good. Finding the position you like, I want to come here with straight legs. We're going to now straighten the elbows out and drag the fingers along the floor. Maybe you could touch the floor. Or maybe we're imagining that our arms are lengthening that long, trying to touch the floor. Draw your belly in, sit right on your sits bones. Remember, we talked about that neutral pelvis and where we want to be there. And last one. Beautiful work. Okay, now we're going to bring those legs to the bent knee position, and we're going to reach those arms to kind of straight elbows, palms in here, and watch that you can move the carriage just by moving your body, right? So here's our half back positioning in a seated position, or you can think of it if you just took the picture of me you see here, lay me on my back, and you can see that I'm doing pelvic tilts like when we started the session today, right? So we're going to pelvic tilt back, scoop your stomach in, sits bones even, sit on your sits bones, and stack up. Now, we take a gentle round back tilt back, and I'm moving the carriage from my lower body. My arms are firm and straight. This is a tricky place because everybody wants to kind of bend the elbows and use the arms to move the carriage. But that's not what we want to do. We want to tuck, round, and we want to move the carriage from the pelvis. The arms are just an extension of the straps. Good. Now that we've kind of played with that a little bit, we're going to lean back, round back, scoop back, stay here. Draw those shoulder blades down and proud out of the neck. Turn the palms up, and we move into a biceps curl. As we take it into that biceps curl, we want to ensure that we are not shrugging the shoulders. So for instance, shrugging the shoulders looks like this, right? We also want to make sure that we're not dropping the shoulders, okay? Not a bad exercise, that's not what we're doing. We're moving into biceps. So we want to try to keep those arms parallel to the floor. I like to take my pinky finger and gently tap the side of my head, so I also know that my arms are in and not chicken winging out to the side. 2 more. Exhale. Ooh, there goes the door. Scoop and stack up. Beautiful. Now we're going to come back to the center of our carriage, and we're going to change the spring, okay? Now during this time, if some of the stuff was difficult, some of the movements, then I hope that you lightened your spring, okay? So we're going to take the red spring off, and we're going to keep the yellow spring. Yellow is the lightest, so pick the lightest resistance you have. All right, so to start, we're going to go close to the shoulder rest, okay? And we're going to take the legs into crisscross applesauce. You can always prop your knees up with blankets to make sure that those hips are comfortable in this position. If you have a box, your box is long and you're sitting on top of the box. But we're doing this exercise here. So as we're here, we're gonna reach down and grab that shoulder, the strap that's at the front shoulder rest, so the front strap, and we're going to give it a little pull and tuck that elbow in. We're gonna do some rotator cuff stuff. This hand can press down into the headrest or even kind of press into this shoulder rest to help keep him down. The elbow is tucked in, and we just go in and out like so. Inhaling, exhaling. Keep your body as still as you can, head right over the top of your shoulders, and the collarbones are open and proud. Now this might be a hard one for you, because this is technically kind of a smaller group of muscles that sometimes just never get worked out. You can also use your hand to assist through those tricky, hard places. You don't want to cheat too much because you definitely want that rotator cuff to strengthen. But if you're right at that place where you just need a little extra help, you can help with your other hand. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to place that strap back down, and we're going to do the other side. I'm going to switch around. You guys can see my back side here. Perhaps you can see how I'm going to really try to keep this shoulder blade down and connected. Take that front strap, bring him to your waist, and you have the hand here or here, wherever you want to go. And we're going to go out and in with this arm. Sitting on sits bones, squeezing belly in. Breathe in and exhale. Good. Yellow oftentimes really is kind of the best resistance for this. If you've got a little more strength and you want a little bit more energy, you can certainly slide down and make it harder. This is my right arm, so I can use a little bit more work. So I slid down a little bit, and now it's a little bit harder. Drawing that shoulder blade back and keeping him on your spine and keeping this elbow in. And rest. Beautiful. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is move into some abdominal work. Okay? Some flexion abdominal work. So we're going to take the springs and change them to a red and a blue. So you always want to keep one spring on when you're changing the springs, because if you take them all off at one time, your reformer escapes. So we don't want that, because that just takes up time. So we want to have one red and one blue. So now that we have one red and one blue, we're going to make sure our straps are nearby, okay? Especially if you're on a lower reformer, or maybe even if your reformer doesn't have pegs. Make sure your straps are nearby so you can grab them. And we're going to come down to the center, and we're going to watch our body mechanics by scooping and lowering down, bone by bone. Throw a little bit of ab work in there when we do that too. All right, now that we're there, we're going to go over to those straps, put one on each hand, okay? And now we have the straps in our hands. We're going to move the straps, we're going to move the reformer with the straps, okay? So press out with your legs, transfer the weight into the straps. Make sure you got the weight into the straps now and in your arms. Squeeze your stomach in, lift one leg and then your other. Breathe in to begin and exhale, press down. As we inhale, we're going to feel those abdominals still engaged, which is where we're going to use that lateral rib cage breath that we started with in the beginning of the session. So we're going to feel the ribs stretch away from the center line as our abdominals are still engaged. Your shoulder blades are glued to the mat here. They're staying down and you're pressing through the under surface of that arm. And then you're controlling using the under surface of that arm. Now to add the abdominals, we're going to start arms perpendicular to ceiling. We're going to draw the chin to your chest, look down at your sternum and press the straps down. Look at your belly, pull it in. Then slowly keep looking at that belly as we lie down. Breathe in. Exhale, chin to chest, scoop your stomach in and push those straps down. Protect your neck by drawing those shoulder blades in. Breathe in. Exhale, chin to chest. Draw those shoulder blades in. Scoop your stomach. Keep your back imprinted. Contract those abdominals as we lower down. Bring your chin to your chest. Feel those neck bones open and lengthen. Push down and spread those collarbones. Squeeze your stomach in, lying down. We got 2 more here. Breathe in. Exhale. Look at the belly. Keep him contracting, even on the lowering. And rest. Beautiful work. Place your feet down on the bar. Rock your knees left and right. Place your straps on the peg or just down on the floor if you're on a low reformer near you so you can grab them when you need them. I'm going to take some abdominal work here without the straps. Throw some mat work in there. Okay, we're going to inhale, lengthen out through the back of the neck. Press those hands down. Bring your right leg up and then your left leg. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, we're going to drop double legs down towards the bar and slowly come right back up. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. This is where that inhale breath is going to move into the lateral rib cage. Exhale. Modification for this would just be a single leg coming in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Stretch those legs to the sky, to your best place of length. And we're going to take a flex foot and a point foot. A flex foot and a point foot. Press the heels to the ceiling, point the feet. Now, if we need to bend the knees a little to access this, then that's what we'll do, right? We're going to move intelligently and do what our body is capable and feels good in doing. Shouldn't feel too anxious and worrisome when we're doing movements. And then we imprint the back to the mat. We're just going to reach the legs to the side, down, circle to the other side and back up. Here's our corkscrew. Now we're going to move very small here to ensure that we can keep the low back imprinted and pressed to the mat. So when our back is imprinted, we draw the belly into the back and we keep the spine down. We go to one side, that side can lift, okay? And then the other side, that side can lift. But when we go to one side, we feel one side imprinted, other side lifted. One side imprinted, other side lifted. But we want to feel abdominals are controlling that. And the last bit for the corkscrew here is to make sure that when we're reaching the legs out to the side, that one leg isn't longer than the other, because then you're not feeling that core and you're just moving with the length of the leg. We want the core to do the motion. Go the other way, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, imprinting to one side and then to the other, feeling left imprinted, feeling right imprinted, inhaling down, exhaling up, and always, always, always pulling belly to back. Let's bring those knees in, rock your body left and right, and slowly place the foot one at a time on the foot bar. Good. Let your neck kind of release by looking left and right. And the last thing we're going to do in this position is legs and straps. So we started off with the red and the blue as we had the straps in the hands. Now we're going to keep that weight and we're going to take the straps into the legs. Okay? So you're going to reach and take your straps. With safety, we're going to press those legs out. So the weight is in the legs now. place the weight on the left leg now. Bend that knee a little bit so we can have access to the straps. They can move around pretty well. The carriage is extended about halfway. With the left leg on the bar, we're going to lift the right leg up. We push out just a little if we need to reach, okay? And then that foot goes into the straps, into the one strap. Okay, I have both straps in my hands so that when it's time to go to the other foot, I'll have it, I'll be ready. So I'm going to push into this right leg. As I push into that right leg, the left leg is able to leave the bar, and we put that strap on the left foot. Now, this position that we're holding here is your sweet spot position. It's your 45-degree position. It's the best place that you can pretty much hold here and doesn't take a lot of effort. Now, there has to be effort because we want to hold a neutral pelvis here. But this is the optimum mechanical position, thinking physics-wise, that the body can just kind of hold the carriage steady, okay? So now that we're here, we're going to remember that this is always the beginning position of the leg work we're doing in straps, okay? Whenever it's time to move on, we go to this place and we do the next exercise. So we're going to bend and stretch. Bend the hips and stretch the legs out. You may also know it as sit to stand, okay? We inhale, we feel the tail grounded, and we feel that blueberry space between the low back and the mat. Squeezing your knees in and pressing out. Good. As we do that, we want to feel these hamstrings right at that glute insertion here, activating and controlling. So we're controlling in and we're controlling out. Now when we take that bend, the knee isn't fully 90 because that kind of rubs into the straps a little bit. It's just a little up so the straps can kind of have room to maybe gently touch the tibias or maybe even be on the outside of the legs a little bit. Okay, so inhaling and pressing. Now we're going to stretch those legs out for the new exercise. Turn the feet out, heels together, toes apart. It's our Pilates V Feet, similar to the footwork that we did when we started. Inhaling here and exhaling out. Inhaling here and exhaling out. When we bend those knees, squeeze those heels together, draw the belly in and tense that seat. We're tensing the pelvic floor when we do that. Pressing out, draw that belly in. Keep those abdominals engaged the entire time. Exhaling out. Good. Now we're going to go right back out to that 45-degree position. Spin the legs to parallel, and those legs reach to the sky and down. Inhale. Keep the tail grounded. I want you to stretch the legs to the sky as you plug the hip joint down into a neutral pelvis. So feel your neutral pelvis reaching to the floor as your legs reach to the sky, creating length. 2 inches longer go the legs. And then we press down, drawing belly to back, turn out, and we do the same thing. But we're keeping those legs in our Pilates V turnout. Check into the legs and make sure that they are moving with the same amount of weight. So don't let one leg take over and work harder than the other. Inhaling and exhaling. Here's our last one. Find your parallel 45-degree position. Leg circles goes up with the legs, open and down. When we take that opening, let's take it to about width of reformer right now. So don't go any wider than that. Finding control in the legs, finding the belly engaged the whole time. Check into that lateral rib cage breath. We want to make sure that we are inhaling with an abdominal connection, not letting that belly pooch. Good. Reverse your direction, frame of reformer. Checking into those legs, ensuring that one isn't trying to work harder than the other. Now we get to go up in the other direction again, but this time open those legs wider if you feel like it. Exhale. Exhale. Squeeze the belly in. Draw navel to spine. I like to exhale on the down here. It takes more effort to press down and keep the pelvis neutral without letting it overarch. Reverse your direction. Exhale. Exhale. Everything is loving center line. So you want those legs to really meet in the center with control. Bend those knees into your chest. Let your back flatten. And rock your body left and right. Straighten those legs out. Let those legs rise up. Give yourself a little bit longer of a hamstring stretch. Breathing into the backs of the legs. Flex and point the feet. Spread the toes. Breathing in. And breathing out. You can tell I'm relishing this right now. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. Bend those knees slowly. Coming to the place where you can get out of the straps. Keep the weight. Oops, guys. I lost my headset. Here you go. Keep the weight on your left leg. Bring that right leg in to remove the strap. Place them gently on the ground. Reach that right leg down towards the bar, bending this left leg to assist. I can't find my bar. Ah, there it is. And then, weight is on this guy now. I can control it with my right leg. Be careful, don't bend too much because you don't want to overstretch this guy. But now we can reach up and we can remove that strap. Gently place them down near your reformer if you're on the floor, because you don't want to trip on them when you get up. Bend the knees and come home. Now, we're done moving the carriage. We're home. Squeeze your stomach in, roll to your side. The last thing we're going to do before we get up is get the other headset and sit up. We're going to do some hip flexor stretches. Okay, so I'm going to start on the other side so you can see me. So gently, using your abdominals, stand up, press through your legs, keep your back nice and straight. We're going to walk around the reformer to the left-hand side. We're going to take that left leg near the front of that foot bar, close to the very end of that reformer to ensure that we're going to have a nice long leg opening. We're going to come down onto the reformer with the flat of the foot on the shoulder rest. Okay. We can come here if you'd like, and we can get a front thigh stretch, right? Or we can lift up. Okay. We're going to come down to the reformer, place the knee down. Let's reach down and take the blue spring off. So we got a red spring on, okay? Now, pardon me for a moment as I get a towel to put under my knee to show you how you can pad that knee. So let me be right back. So we get a towel and we fold it and place it down so that we got it right at our knee. Now this front leg is going to be 90 degrees ankle to knee. We almost form like a tabletop here, okay? The flat of the foot is going to the shoulder rest, and the toes are at the ball of the foot, okay? Arms are straight, and we're pressing out and in, okay? Now we're going to draw that belly in, scoop, keep your spine as straight as you can, and by straight, I mean neutral, right? So head in line with tailbone. We're going to glue those shoulder blades into the back. We're going to ensure that the shoulders are quiet and they're out of the ears. Closing the carriage. And then when we go home, we're going to imagine that we're reaching the top of the head to the sky like we're growing out of the ground. Squeeze belly in, and we go for one more here. Reach the top of the head towards the ceiling as we're growing out of the ground. Beautiful. Close your carriage. Gently place weight on that standing left leg. Come up. And now we walk around the reformer, go the other side. We always want to make sure that we walk around the reformer and not step over it, because it would be that one time that you trip on a strap or the bottom of the reformer, or you stub your toe, or who knows what. It's just not the right way. You want to be safe always. So we're going to take this towel over, place the flat of the foot on the shoulder rest, and take that knee down. We're going to take that front right leg towards the very front of that reformer in line with the foot bar. Okay, we want to have a nice flat kind of platform thigh here. Both arms are straight on the foot bar. We draw tall, lengthen through the back of the neck, shoulders down, and we press that carriage out and in. Watching the form here, we want to make sure that both ASIS bones are facing forward, and we're not arching into the back to move the carriage, and we're also not rotating the pelvis here in this plane. Everything is facing forward. You want to almost imagine that your spine is being held in a plank, which means that you're fully active abdominals, low back, shoulder blades, arm bones. Squeeze your stomach in as we close the carriage. Inhale, press out. Grow tall out of the ground. Exhale, close. Last one. Close your carriage. Come down off of your reformer and have a seat to where we started. Okay, I would say maybe more in the center here. Take those legs out in your best position. Okay, we can take them into a gentle open butterfly type position, depending on if you're on the floor. Okay, if your reformer is higher, you can go ahead and place them here. Okay, but we're going to come here because I think this is a nice way just to let the legs relax. Okay, and find your best kind of relaxed leg position with intelligent connection. So we're not going to be really super lazy there, but we're definitely going to find kind of a loose pack position, as we call it in physical therapy, where the joints just really don't feel like they're compressing at all into each other. My best position for that is here. Okay, so now that we're here, we're going to stretch those arms out like letter T, and we're just going to take a side stretch. If we are mirroring each other, you're going to side stretch to the left. Breathe in through the back of the neck and send the ribs to the left. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze your stomach in, stack up. We're going to pause at T arms, and we're going to reach the other arm down, just being aware of where your hand is going. If it's in the springs, just, be aware of that. Don't pinch anything. We're going to stretch and lengthen. We're going to sit heavy onto that side we're stretching, so we don't want that hip to pop up. So press that side down, squeeze your stomach in, lengthen through the back of the neck, and go to the other side. We want to try to create a crescent moon stretch from fingertip to hip. We also want the head to be in line with the sternum, right? And that's definitely going to happen if we're not shrugging. If we shrug, we're not going to have that line. Don't let that neck collapse. Squeeze your stomach in and stack, and go to the other side. Again, grounding into that side that you're stretching. One more on each side. Scoop. Relax your arms. Drop your head down. Stretch the back of the neck. Exhale, lengthen. Tilt your ear down to your left. Shoulders down. Chest proud. Come to the center. Switch sides. And back to the center. And this time, let's let those shoulders off the hook and shrug up and down and shrug up and forward. Good. Right arm, left arm. Good. We're going to stand up. We're going to connect ourselves to straight posture, and we will be done. So gently use your abdominals, press through your feet, squeeze your stomach in to stand up. We're going to stand long, ground into the feet. We want the feet right underneath our hips. So we have a small space between our knees. And we're going to slide our shoulder blades down out of the ears. We're going to tuck those abdominals in. We're going to lengthen through the back of the neck. Soften the gaze, soften the face. Collarbones are proud. Draw your belly in, connect to the pubis bone, breathing in. Exhale, connect the feet to the earth. Breathe in, stretch the head to the heavens. And exhale. We are all done. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. This is the first reformer session that I put together. I hope you enjoyed it. It'll get better and better the more and more we work out through the kinks. Thank you so much for joining me again, and share with your friends. Have a great day.